on her way, that little bitch. Heather actually attended the tribute at the Directors Guild of America on Thursday, so she'll probably tell you a bit about that. Jason, you're here. I see you over there. I don't know about the rest of the cast here. I'm not even having, I'm in one of those stages of grief, denial, surprise, anger. I'm pissed at Wes. I wanted to work on the new Scream for him on MTV. I mean, I just, I was so surprised by his passing and angered, and I miss him already. But I'm going to tell a little funny story, and it's not about Nightmare on Elm Street. I've done 3 movies for Wes and a television series. And I was up in Vancouver doing Nightmare Cafe for Wes, which was considered the zenith of production value at that time on American network television. We were held up for all 3 networks as an example of what the new television should look like. Our cameraman was David Cronenberg's director of photography. And we were working very hard. Jack Coleman, the wonderful Jack Coleman from Heroes, myself, Lindsay Frost, sister of the great Mark Frost. We were all doing this wonderful show, which was originally called Terminal Bar, Last Chance Cafe, but the network, taking advantage of my celebrity and Wes's success, changed it to the Nightmare Cafe, exploiting us a bit. But we loved the show. Great actors on the show like Angela Bassett. And one night, after a long 6-day week, that's why they moved you up to Canada to work, they can get 6 days out of you. We were watching Saturday Night Live. And we'd all had copious amounts of good wine and other things. And we were all on the couch in my apartment up by Stanley Park watching Saturday Night Live. And there was a sketch called Head Wound Harry. And most of you are too young to remember this show. This was back in the mid-90s. But it was really dark, black comedy. And Head Wound Harry was getting licked and his wound by a dog. Now, I don't know why that's funny, but Jack Coleman started to giggle and lose it, and then I started to laugh, that stoner laugh, and giggle. And there, all 6'6" of them, Wes Craven, stretched out on my couch with his big, long Don Quixote legs and his Ralph Lauren apparel. Wes lost it. And what I love and what I remember most about Wes will be that moment of Wes in complete rapture, in complete hilarity, totally lost in his laughter, laughing literally until he cried like a little boy, like when you can't stop anymore, when you break up rehearsing or something as actors, and you just can't stop. And you've seen it happen on Saturday Night Live. And you've seen it happen on some talk shows. You can see Jimmy Fallon let go sometimes. And I'm always going to cherish that moment. I want to believe that Wes felt relaxed at my little apartment in Vancouver, Canada, up by the park, and could really be himself. But I've always said in interviews that Wes somehow managed to keep this 14-year-old adolescent fanboy alive in him. And that was my proof of it that night. Watching, Saturday Night Live with my cast from Nightmare Cafe. Amanda? I don't have Kleenex, Garcia. As they say, West Side Story, what you got with your sleeve?
There's the funny thing. When I first met Wes, I was so intimidated, and he was so sweet to me because every day that I was on the set, I had to do some arduous, tortuous thing, like stand in heels or be in a body bag, and he would sometimes just look at me like, "I'm so sorry, I'm putting you through this." But I just loved him, and he was the first director. I'd only done a few movies before that, and he made me feel like the best actress. He gave me so much confidence and has really supported me through my whole career. And I found out after the fact that spoken to the director and gotten other films because of his high praise of my work, and I just thought I could so, it's nice to he was great, because I literally every day I was like, really, I have to do this? I don't want to do this. He was great. I know it's not a very good story.
Jason.
My name is Jason and Corri. I'm going to say, I think funny stuff. I used to hustle Wes a lot. He used to play racquetball. He was a racquetball player. We used to play right on Ventura and Vineland. And I got Nightmare, obviously. I didn't have to hustle. But then I wanted all these other movies to do with them. And I hustled. I let him win racquetball. I was really good. At some point I felt really bad because he had knee braces. I was quite younger then, and I was whipping his ass. And I don't know if you guys know what racquetball is. Racquetball is like your 4x4 room, and you get abused by the ball. And something said, hey, just let him win. So I would let him win, and then I hustled him for Vampire in Brooklyn, and he gave me a role. He gave me a role. He made me audition for it. I was really pissed. And, it was a heavy set because a lady died on the set. It was tough for him.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then I did Nightmare 6, the new Nightmare. I hustled him for that one. I wasn't supposed to be in that, and I had the original leather jacket, and I said, look, dude, I'll let you have. It was before eBay, I think, and I would. Now that he's gone, I got to get that jacket back because it was only a gift to him. So I gave him the jacket, the leather jacket, the original Nightmare, and then he said, okay, great. So then I did the cemetery scene.
Yeah.
And then I had Wes and Craven's here. Immediately when I see you guys, I told Heather at breakfast, all of these people are in my DNA. And Nightmare is my DNA, and there's nothing, I don't feel sad about Wes. Maybe I'll feel sad later. I think I was doing what Robert's doing. I think we'll cry later. But it did hit me. But I always say this in a funny way. Wayne Dyer died around the same time Wes did that day. So maybe they hooked up. Mr. Horror and Mr. Light.
Ronnie.
Hi. Wes Craven, may he rest in peace. A wonderful guy, soft-spoken, had a slight lisp, always had ideas and was always working. Things were different back when we did Nightmare on Elm Street 1. There wasn't any big success, there were no connections. There was no money to make this movie. Halfway through, we'd be worried if they could come up with the completion bond and the insurance to shoot the next day. But Wes was always confident. Even though he was soft-spoken, he was not weak. I think, did I say he had a slight lisp? He was a good-looking man, tall, lanky, blonde, and preppy, and not macho, but he had his way, and we did not cross his way. And he wasn't vicious, I just mean he made sure that he did it his way. One time I tested that, I didn't know I was testing it, but we were having a rehearsal before we ever started shooting. And Marge was supposed to be having a bottle, drinking her gin, I think it was. And so I got a bottle of gin to bring to the rehearsal. So I would have a prop to use. And we were rehearsing away, and I was drinking the gin, and he said, Ronnie, is there gin in that bottle? And I said, why, yes. And he was like, oh, no, because that's not allowed, you see. You can't work with real alcohol. You guys probably know that. But that was a trick, and he didn't think it was that funny. So that was me trying to be funny, and it didn't really go over. But it didn't interfere with our relationship at all. It's just that it gave me insight into Wes, you know, that he's a straight shooter. And when I had to do the claw scene down in the furnace room, I don't know if you remember, but it's where Marge tells her daughter that she has killed Freddie. And it was a big scene for me, an important scene for the movie, Wes said. And he made sure to have the set be totally quiet, you know, out of respect for me to try to work and do the good work that he wanted. And he was pleased with everything. He said he was. And then later on, I don't know if you ever noticed, but Marge falls apart, you know, during the movie. Her hair starts out pretty, supposedly. And then her hair gets all torn apart and gets pretty wild. And then by the end, she comes out with nice hair again. Well, I did that. You know, we all do our internal character studies and our preparation, and we go with it. And if the director likes it, usually they don't say much. And if they don't like it, then you go in for a change with makeup and wardrobe. But long after we had shot it, Wes told me, I think it was on the phone or at a screening, but anyway, he said, you know what, I want to tell you, I really appreciate what you did with your hair. He said it really gave a good description to the character, and I think he did a lot for the movie. He gave me this deep compliment, you know, to the innermost workings of my actor self. That a choice that I have made and taken a chance on and devoted myself to or committed myself to, just a small thing, but that he had noticed it and that he complimented me on it when it didn't mean anything anymore in terms of shooting the movie. The movie was wrapped and in and out, and he still complimented me on it. I always thought that somehow we would meet again. I never thought of him as sick. I didn't know he was sick. And I always thought I would, excuse me, work with him.
Are we?
You have some memories? Share maybe with the people a little bit about the VGA trip? Is there any story?
Well, the first thing I'd like to say, I feel very same as Ronee, that you just, you know, hold tight to the people that you care about, even if they aren't maybe you're someone you see all the time, because I think our greatest regret is that in the last year, we don't make the efforts to, you know, have a more telephone conversation or go and visit, and I've been thinking a lot about people in my life that I need to do that more with, and Wes is for me, you know, he's such a father figure. He was someone who taught me everything, literally every single thing I know about being an actor. And he paid me a great compliment. And when I was very young, he complimented my power concentration in being able to play the part of Nancy every day like that. Very short shooting schedule, very demanding. And the bad side of that is that I don't have that many memories of Wes that a lot of people do, like having fun times and laughing and giggling or playing jokes or going out after shooting. I realized that we worked so hard, and after a wrap every day, I got in my car and went home. I tried to get 7 hours of sleep and got back to set. And that drive, that work schedule prevented me from having jolly, jokey moments with him. And I rely on Robert for all of that, because he has, you know, he had a totally different difficulty with the makeup. But my best memories of Wes, I think, are just him directing me and appreciating that he could be very blunt with me. He had no ego if he told me that I was being too big with my gestures or my eyes were too wide open or something. Great, you know, then go to the next take. And I
I have met a lot of actors that get offended, you know, when people are that, they can do line readings, but for Wes, you know, like that, but he gave such great direction to me, and it was down to the way my eyeballs moved. He would say, please move your eyeball to the left 20 degrees. And I would just say that. I was like, okay, Wes, got it. And it kind of impedes all the prep you've done, maybe, where you wanted to look out the window, but no, Wes was like, look down to the left 20 degrees, right when Freddie says, I'm your boyfriend now. And you can see that shot in the movie today. That eyeball movement was totally directed by Wes. And those were the things he taught me how important the eyeball can be. But I have so many gestures. The throwing of, you know, the hat, the tilt of the hat, every detail became important with Wes, and that's the best lesson I can give to everybody. Every detail in your life is important, and we should all treat it that way.
Probably a cliche to say Wes will always live on in his films, but that's the posterity that we fog people have. We live in the shadows and the light on a screen, phone, or your flat screen, or a few